122 hours. That's how long it has been since I had my last bite of food. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why I didn't eat for 5 days, what I experienced while fasting, and I'm going to tell you how you can do it as well. But first, I'm about to break my fast. All right, so I'm actually filming this the next day. I'm not going to lie. That eggs and soup that I had was probably the best meal that I done had in a long time. Kill that. But anyways, though. So y'all probably wondering, like, why exactly did you go through this whole starving yourself process? Why would you starve yourself for 5 days? Why would you not eat for 5 days? Like, were you trying to, like, unalive yourself? No. Look, y'all gotta understand, when you go without food, when you fast, there's a lot of benefits. Like, there's a specific reason why I decided to do this 5-day fast, and I'm gonna tell you exactly why. So the first reason why is for the physical benefits. Understand, when you fast, you boost HGH, testosterone, you go through autophagy, you boost even like BDNF, you go into ketosis. And to like put it simply, to not drag out this video, all that really means is that you lose fat, you regenerate all the dead cells on your body with new cells, and you also end up like looking younger, you increase your energy, you retain your muscle, and even increase your testosterone. So you just, you become healthier, simple as that. So for me personally, I was on vacation for 2 weeks, and during that time, y'all, I was maximizing degeneracy. I was being a badass jit, essentially, like drinking alcohol, going to bed at 5 a.m. every night, just like, doing stuff that I probably shouldn't have been doing, in all honesty, like just partying a whole lot. But yeah, it's just, it's what happens when you're on vacation, eating unhealthy and whatnot. So when I got back to the crib, I just felt like so gross, so disgusting, so unhealthy. And I was like, yo, I need like a reset to get my life back on track. So I figured this 5-day fast was just that. And as a matter of fact, that's exactly what it did for me. Now, the next reason too, why I also decided to fast was for mental reasons. Understand, when you fast, you increase like your mental capabilities, not only in the form of discipline and willpower in order to resist eating food, but also because you get a boost in BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor. All that means is that you get smarter. So I did it also for those mental benefits. And then the last reason I did it was really just as a seasonal thing. Like me personally, y'all, this is not my first time fasting. I actually fast a lot. I fast every season, spring, summer, fall, winter. I always try to get like a 2 to 3 day fast within that period. And at least once a year, I'll do a super long fast. So like 2023 was the first time I did a 3-day fast. 2024 was the first time I did a 4-day fast. So 2025, it was the time for me to do a 5-day fast. So I was going to eventually do this fast. I just decided to do it this last week. But yeah, so that's why I decided to fast. And now let's just go over like, what exactly did I experience? What was it like going 5 whole days without eating food? And, before we even get into that, let me just tell y'all real quickly, like, what was I doing during this time, okay? Now, I'm going to be 100% honest with y'all. I'm like an anime character, like I told y'all. Remember that anime video I made about how to be an anime character? Yeah, well, I really lived that. By the way, check out that video right here. But essentially, I was doing the same thing every day. Wake up, work on my business, go train, write in my journal. Hella pages. Write in my journal. Read, go and hit the sauna and sweat out. Because another thing is that when you're fasting, in order to help with that detoxification process, that autophagy process where you're getting rid of dead cells and regenerating new cells, you actually want to go to the sauna to get rid of and detoxify those dead cells, by the way. But anyways, yeah. So then I was going in the sun, I was walking, I was meditating, I was like working, DoorDash, and I was doing the same thing every day. Now during this time though, when I was fasting, what was really like striking was just the amount of like synchronicities, like coincidences that were happening in my life. My intuition was super high. And the reason for that is actually very simple, is that when you're fasting, since you're not eating, you're pretty much transcending like your lower animal versions of yourself. The stuff that's focused on survival, the desire to sleep, the desire to eat, the desire to like have sex. You kind of begin to transcend those and you focus more on like self-actualization. Like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Like, how can I get closer to God? All that sort of stuff. So because of that, when you're fasting, your intuition will actually be very high, and like you'll just be very in tune and aware of what's going on around you. But anyways, though, we'll get into that later. I'll tell y'all about that. But yeah, so we got started day 0, like when I first initially started my fast. So again, like I said, I was on vacation. I was eating unhealthy, and for some reason, I was in the airport. I hadn't ate all day, and I fucking ate this fried chicken in the airport. And in the moment, it felt good. Like I was eating with my dog. We was just people watching and whatnot. But then, like 30 minutes after I ate that chicken, I felt like shit. Like I felt so disgusting. And that's when I was like, okay, I definitely need a fast. So when I got home, again, I was still hungry. So then I had this whole like binge session right before I started fasting, which, by the way, do not do. Do not do what I honestly. By the way, this stuff I'm about to tell you about, you should not be doing while you're fasting. Like, the only reason I was able to get away with it is because, like I said, I'm a pro faster. This ain't my first rodeo. Like, I fast pretty frequently. But anyways, yeah. So I came home, just binge ate a whole bunch, like fruit with yogurt, protein waffles, like chicken nuggets from the fridge or something. I was just going crazy. So I didn't actually start my official fast till like I want to say 2. It was like 2 a.m. on Tuesday. It was when my fast started, and at that time I weighed about 200 pounds. I was just looking in the mirror. I'm like, damn, I feel disgusting. Let's go to bed. So I went to bed. Woke up the next day to day one, like the first official day of the fast. And it was actually really easy. Like I said, this was not my first rodeo. This was not my first time fasting. So day one was just like any other day. I did my usual activities, working on my business, training, doing all my other stuff, all that. And day one, nothing really that crazy happened. Nothing significant happened. No crazy synchronicities or intuitions. It was really just a regular day in the neighborhood. So yeah. So then I went to bed that day. And I woke up on day 2, and that's when stuff started to get a little interesting. That's when more like synchronicity started to happen. For one, on this day, I went and hooped, and by the way, I was giving niggas buckets. Okay, nigga, I was beating everyone on one-on-one, so dunking like crazy as well. So, anyways, I did that. Went and hit the sauna. When I came back to the crib and weighed myself, I was weighing like 185 pounds. So like I had already lost like all the fat on my body that I wanted to lose. And by the way, originally, when I first started the fast, my original goal was just to go 40 hours without food, just like a day and a half of not eating, just to give myself a quick little reset. But like I said, I just felt like my mind and body just needed so much recuperation and recovery from the 2-week bender I had been on. Like, I was like, fuck it, let's just push it to 5 days. Like, I'm gonna eventually have to do a 5-day fast. I might as well just do it now. So that's what I decided to do. I decided to push the fast out to 120 hours to 5 days. So anyways, on this day, I was actually walking through my neighborhood. I'm listening to this video. It's talking about, he's like, you know, girls always come back. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then like 20-30 seconds later, I get a text from this girl that I've been talking to a few weeks ago. And it was just like, that's very odd. Like, think about that. You listening to a video talking about how they always come back, talking about how, you know, whoever it be, if you a girl, like how guys come back, if you a guy, how girls come back, and then you get a text from someone that you were talking to a few weeks ago. It was just like, I was like, whoa, that's a little crazy. So anyways, I didn't really think too much of it. I was just like, you know, synchronicities like that happen. Well, at least for me, synchronicities like that happen pretty often. So I just wrote it down in my synchronicity journal. And then after that, just went about my day as regular. And I was trying to go to bed that night though. And the issue was this on day 2, this is when I had the most cravings. This is the time when I really wanted to break the fast. And if you're doing the fast, if you decide to go like a 3-day fast or more, it's usually on day 2 when you'll experience the most cravings. Because think about it, your body has gone pretty much more than a day without food. And at this point, it's like, it's pretty hungry. And it's not fully into ketosis yet, which, by the way, is obviously where you're just running off of fat for fuel, which is the whole point of fasting, which is what allows you to still have energy during the fast. So you're not fully into the state of ketosis, so you're still kind of hungry. And yeah, for me, it was weird. It was like exactly at 2 a.m. on Thursday, exactly 48 hours after I'd had my last meal, I was getting just like this crazy cravings. I was like, I had this chicken in the fridge. I was about to go throw it on the pan, throw it down, and just like eat that. Like, I was just like so focused on food, but somehow, some way, I really don't know how, I rode the wave. And I was just like, nah, I'm not going to eat the food. And the main reason why, I didn't eat was because I have broken fast early before and I paid the price. So, little story time. So, back in 2024, this was my first time attempting a 4-day fast. Because like I said, I try to increase the number every year. Like next year, 2026, I'm going to do a 6-day fast. So I'll get the point. So, anyways, 2024, I was doing a 4-day fast. And during this time, I was transferring from the University of Miami to the University of Arizona to play football. I was talking to the coaches. I was touring the facility. And like, I'm not going to lie, I was in my bag. I was feeling good. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm about to go to this new school. I'm about to ball out. I was even looking into getting a new whip. I was looking into getting a new crib. And then I was like, all right, well, before I join the team and all that, let me do a 4-day fast just to like reset myself, regenerate myself, and get ready for like what's about to happen. So I was doing the fast. And it was going well. And I got to like 3 days and 23 hours. And then I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to just eat right now. And I broke my fast early. And you know what happened? I paid the price. And the next day, I tore my shoulder. So, yeah, that was just one example where, like, when you break the fast early, when you break that promise to yourself early, when you low-key break a promise with God, because in a way, fasting, since it gets you so close to God, you're low-key making a promise with God. Yeah, I broke that early and I had to pay the price. So I tore my shoulder. No football. No whip. No new crib. None of that. Life delayed. But anyways, I can't even be mad about that. Then another time, too, I said I was going to do a 3-day fast. I only went to like 2 days and 22 hours. And I actually did this the week before. So when I was playing at the University of Miami, we were playing the university, the Georgia Tech University, and we played them the week before we played them. I did a fast, and then the week that we played them, we fucking lost.
Here's King from the pocket, flush to his right with 6, 5, gonna loop it downfield, and ball is caught.
On this crazy like Hail Mary end of game pass that shouldn't even happen, because for one, like, quick little tangent, fucking Don Chaney was down. He never fumbled. Shout out my nigga Don Chaney, by the way. That nigga be balling out. But yo, like, that he did not like fumble the ball. But for some reason the refs said that we fumbled the ball. Georgia Tech got the ball back, and then they fucking chucked that bitch like 80 yards down the field in like 2 plays. That shit was bad. But yeah, I advocate that. The reason for that, I think the reason that happened was because I just broke my fast. So anyways, though, I said that to say, if you're going fast, just make sure that you actually like set a time that you're actually going to commit to. If you say you're going to fast for 36 hours, fast for 36 hours. If you say you're going to fast for 72 hours, but you can really only fast for 24 hours, don't make that commitment. Only fast for the amount of time that you can actually fast for. So if you are going to start getting into prolonged fasting, start with a 24-hour fast. Do that once, twice, maybe 3 times. Then go up to 36 hours. Once, twice, 3 times. 48 hours, 72 hours, more than 72 hours, and so on. The point being, just only commit to fast that you can actually commit to, because you don't want to do a fast and then like not commit. It makes you lose trust in yourself. And when you start to lose trust in yourself, well, you pretty much just lose the ability to accomplish anything. You lose all confidence in yourself. It's not worth it, bro. It's not worth it. Only commit to what you can actually do in all facets of life. Anyways, though, so, I rode that wave, stayed convicted, stayed like, entrenched in my fast. And then day 3 came around. And at this point, my intuition was very high. It's just like my gut was just leading me. My gut just was healed, because that's another thing. Is when you're fasting, your gut gets healed. So like all the decisions I was making was on point. I'm catching like green lights every time. Again, girls that I had like been talking to in the past just kept reaching out to me. That's not even like to, like beat my own dick or stroke my own ego. It's just what was happening. Girls that I had talked to in the past were all of a sudden reaching out to me. And I was just like, that's odd. But I think it's because when you're fasting, you're vibrating and elevating on a higher frequency than you normally are. So it just makes sense that you're able to attract more things into your sphere and whatnot. And again, day 3 was nothing really to write home about. I did some sprints outside, and then I almost like passed out. By the way, like the type of training I was doing, I do not recommend doing if you are fasting, because I live in Arizona. It's like 100+ degrees outside. If you're fasting, you probably should not be doing workouts outside, and you shouldn't be going as hard as I was. But yeah, I did all that. I was doing like sprints, plyometrics, and yeah, I almost passed out. And then on this night too, this was the beginning of my sleep issues. I ended up DoorDashing so late till like 2 a.m. And yeah, it just wasn't fun, honestly. Like, I did not enjoy that at all. The only reason I did it was because I had to get back to platinum status. And that's a whole nother story that I'm not even going to get into. But for all the niggas that be DoorDashing, y'all know what happens when you get platinum status. So when you get platinum status, you are able to DoorDash whenever you want. The issue was I lost my platinum status while I was on vacation. So I lost the ability to DoorDash and make money whenever I wanted. So I had to get it back. So I had to stay in the trenches. I had to go down to the south side of my city and fucking do DoorDash till 2 a.m. Like, the things that a nigga gotta do in 2025 is crazy, y'all. Anyways, moving on though. Day 4 came around, and at this point, I was just fully in a flow state. It's like everything was so smooth. Like, yeah, my energy was down, but my spirit was so strong. Because that's another thing, is when you're fasting, your spirit gets strong. You're running off of nothing but your mind, whatever you have in your body, and whatever you have in your soul. So that's what I was running off of. And on this day, for my training, I just did like some boxing on the heavy bag. I went and hit the sauna. And also on this day too, this is when like I really put my willpower and discipline to the test. So right now I'm filming my athletic body program, which is a whole entire program to get you athletic and aesthetic. Top link in the description below. I'm gonna tell you about that a bit later. But yeah, so I'm filming that, and I have two windows when I can film. I can either film in the morning before 9 a.m. or I can film at night after 9 p.m. Since I had gone to bed so late, I ended up waking up late and missing my usual morning window. Because of that, I had to go film late at night. Do the nighttime window. And what ended up happening was that usually on most days, if I eat and then like try to film something, it's just not gonna happen. So I'll never eat before I get all my work done, because like once I eat, I pretty much just kind of become like a couch potato. Like I don't really want to do anything after I eat, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'll get all my work done, I'll train, I'll even go like make some money on and whatnot from my job, and then I'll get back to the crib, I'll eat, and then I'll just chill out for the rest of the day. But I didn't have that excuse today, so I was just able to go to the place where I film at, the gym where I film at, and I was able to film from like 9 p.m. to like 10:30 p.m., which is something I never would have been able to do just based off of like my usual tendencies. But it was like while I was on this fast, I was beginning to realize it's like the only limits that are real are the ones that you set on yourself. And I'm gonna touch on that when I go over like my whole takeaways from this fast. But it was just interesting. It was something that I never witnessed in myself, which is the ability to really power through, you know, just have that discipline, have that willpower, even when I'm running on empty, even when I really just don't want to do the thing that I know I have to do. Now, day 5, at this point, again, I'm in that zone. My discipline and willpower is on 100. My presence is super crazy. Like I'm 100. Wherever I was at that time was where I was. It's like I'm not thinking about the past. I'm not thinking about the future. I'm just thinking about what I got to do in this moment to just, you know, move my life forward. On this day, I also did some field work with my dog train with JC. He was absolutely mutting niggas. I'm not gonna lie. I almost collapsed and died during the workout, but it was good work. It was good work. By the way, check out my dog train with JC. He gonna get y'all right when it comes to basketball. But yeah. So that day, again, it was nothing too crazy. Just, you know, again, I'm still in that flow state. My discipline and willpower is pretty much on 100. I'm having like just this crazy presence. Like wherever I am, I'm there. You know, I'm super present. I'm like looking you in the eye, just like we are right now. It's like it's just me and you. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, though. On this night, I just couldn't sleep again. Like I was just having sleep issues this whole fast. Like I was not able to sleep, and I think the reason for that is that when you eat, digestion takes like 30% of your body's energy. So you know, it kind of just helps put you to sleep in a way because you're using so much energy. But when you have nothing inside you, it's just harder to sleep because your body still has like energy to use. Your body doesn't really have much to recover from. You know, a big point of sleep is to lower inflammation, but the fasting lowers your inflammation, it resets your immune system. Like you're pretty healthy on a fast. So I wasn't able to sleep, and because of that, you know, I tried to tire myself out. So I went on a walk for like an hour and a half, still couldn't sleep. I went and stretched for like 30 minutes, still couldn't sleep. I even watched this anime Hell's Paradise. By the way, shout out my dog Noah. Put me on with that one, I ain't gonna lie. But I watched this anime Hell's Paradise, finished the whole series. I still couldn't sleep. At this point, it's like midnight. I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I gotta go see what the city has to offer me. So I hit the city, went downtown and whatnot. And this is something that I'm actually going to have to talk about on a stream because I'm going to start streaming soon. But yeah, pretty much I went downtown and like the interactions I was having was crazy. And again, I think it's just because like when you're fasting, you're on like this like higher elevated frequency. Now look, I'm not going to go too into detail because I'm going to save most of this stuff for the stream. But to summarize, niggas was trying to fight. And there was a lot of basketballs outside that kept rolling my way, to say the least. Anyways, we gonna leave it at that. So anyways, by the time I finished with all that, I had actually hit the point of my fast where like I had completed the fast. Like, you know, as soon as 2 a.m. hit, that's when I completed my fast, and I was still outside. And at this point, I was just chilling and whatnot. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's break this fast. So this day, I didn't even sleep. Like, y'all, by the way, this was yesterday. Like, this past night of sleep that I just got was the first time I slept in like 2 days. So it feels amazing. Like I feel like I'm reborn. But yeah, I went home, broke my fast with the eggs and the bone broth that y'all saw in the beginning of the video. By the way, in case y'all didn't know, I got bone broth and soft boiled eggs. And then later on, I had some steak because it was Father's Day. And yeah, that's how I broke my fast. Now, let's get into like what were my main key takeaways from this fast. You know, what did I learn and what can y'all take away as well? Well, here's the thing. fasting just simply strengthens your discipline and willpower. Simple as that. Look, when you fast, when you go without food, when you go without something you need, because I'm not here to deny that you need food. You absolutely need food, but you can't go a long time without it. But I said to say, when you resist, when you just, when you don't eat, when you fast, it just forces your mind to strengthen. You have to use discipline. You have to use willpower to resist the urge to eat food when it's all around you. So if you go on a fast, this will increase. On top of this too, just like you can definitely expect your intuition and just synchronicities to happen while fasting. Like I said, when you're fasting, you're closer to God. You're not as tethered to this physical plane. You're not as tethered to this physical body. Not as tethered to like animal drivers. You're not as focused on your survival. Instead, you're able to rise above that and float more to like God-like consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So like when you fast, just expect your mind and your spirit to strengthen, to elevate as a whole, and just to become that much more powerful. And the last thing too as well that I really want to touch on is just like, God, understand is like you're truly limitless. Like really the only limits that you have in this life are the ones that you place on yourself. So if you're out here saying that, oh, I can't do this, or I can't do that, then it's going to be true. But if you start telling yourself that, oh, I can do this, I can do that. Like I didn't know I could do a 5-day. No, I knew I could do a 5-day fast, but then actually proving to myself and doing it just strengthens that resolve that I have in myself and further breaks my limits, further makes me even more limitless. Because that's the thing, at the end of the day, we're all limitless. We're all able to do anything that we put our minds to. It's just a matter of having the discipline, having the willpower to actually go through with what it is that you want to do. Simple. And then the last takeaway as well is that if you do fast, you can probably expect to have sleep issues. I'm not gonna lie. Like when you're fasting, and this is something that's actually been common a lot of the times when I fasted, is like sleeping is just, for one, you don't really need to sleep as much because like I said, you're not recovering from much. But yeah, sleep is just kind of hard to come by, at least for me when I'm fasting. By the way, I almost forgot to mention, I started my fast at 200 pounds and I ended up going all the way down to 185 pounds. But that happened after like a day and a half of me fasting, and then my weight never dropped below 185 pounds. But the good thing is that was just me dropping fat. That wasn't me dropping muscle. So for those of y'all that are scared of like, oh, I might lose muscle on a fast, you're not going to lose muscle. You're just going to lose fat. Yeah. Anyways, though, now let's summarize this video with just like how exactly do you fast. Let's say you want to do a prolonged fast. You want to fast for a day, 36 hours, 2 days, 3 days, maybe more than 3 days, 72 hours, 72 plus hours, however long you want to fast. Here's how you do it. And before we even get into that, though, I just want to let y'all know that like if y'all want to know everything there is to know about nutrition, everything there is to know about recovery, lifestyle, training, mindset when it comes to just getting athletic and aesthetic and improving your physique and transforming your body, go and click the top link in the description below. Go and get my athletic body program. But anyways, let's get back to the topic. So before I tell you about how to prolong fast, I'm gonna quickly just go over how to do an intermittent fasting protocol, because that's probably something that most of y'all are more accustomed to, that more of y'all would want to do as well. So when it comes to intermittent fasting, this just means that for 16 to 23 hours out the day, you are not eating. So that means you only eat for, usually most people eat in like an 8-hour window, but you can condense that down to as small as 1 hour like I do, or you can keep it at 8 hours. So the key to do this is very simple though. All you want to do, don't eat for the first 5 hours of the day. So skip breakfast, just train and work on your business, work at your job, work at your school instead. And then when you have your first meal, just make sure that it's high in fat and protein. And then the last rule of the intermittent fasting, and really the second rule, the last rule, is just to stop eating 3 hours before bed. And the reason you do this is just so that it doesn't affect your digestion. Because if you have to focus on digestion and also getting deep sleep, it can really it's like you're going for 2 rabbits at once, so you don't end up catching either one. My coach actually had a saying. I can't say that because if I say that, I'm gonna get canceled. I'm gonna need to save that for the stream. But anyways, yeah. So if you're gonna make sure you stop eating 3 hours before bed. That's all it is. So I also, for that last meal too, try to go heavy on the carbs, so that way you just have energy for your training tomorrow, because chances are you'll be training a lot. So you want to make sure that you load up on carbs. That'll give you energy, and it'll also help you fall asleep faster because, carb crash. Anyways, that's the intermittent fasting protocol. That's how you can just fast for 16 to 20 hours out the day. So just don't eat for the first 5 hours, stop eating 3 hours before bed, and you're going to be Gucci. Now, the prolonged fasting protocol. How do you successfully do a fast that's, 24 hours, 36 hours, 48 hours, who knows how long? What do you have to do? Well, it's very simple. Step one is you got to set your intention. What's the reason for why you're fasting? Are you fasting for spiritual reasons to get closer to God? Maybe it's Ramadan. Maybe you're Jewish or Christian and there's a holiday, and the whole point of the holiday is to fast and get closer to God and, really talk to God and whatnot. A lot of prophets used to fast. Jesus, Buddha, Moses, Muhammad, Abraham. Like, if you want to get closer to God, well, fasting is one of the best ways to do it. So if that's your intention, just make sure you know that's your intention. And the reason why it's so important to set an intention is just like I said, during your fast, you're going to be hit with cravings. There's going to be times you want to break the fast. There's going to be times where you just don't really want to go through with the fast. And, you need to go back to your intention, back to your why to keep you pushing forward, to keep you moving forward. It's like, I want to just eat this food, but no, I got to get closer to God. It's like, now you got a reason to keep on going. And also, every time that you overcome a craving, every time that you get hit with a wave of you want to eat and then you overcome that and resist it, you high-key become stronger. It's like you almost become like a Super Saiyan or something. It's like you get a little power boost each time. But yeah, that's one reason. Another reason why could be for mental reasons. If you got a test coming up, you got to lock in for a business meeting, or you got a project you got to work on, you got to study for an exam, then actually fasting will help you with that. Like we already know. Fasting increases BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor, helps you focus, makes you smarter, all that. Yeah. Now, some more reasons why you can fast as well is going to be for physical reasons. So, obviously we already know that when you fast, you lose fat. But on top of that too, if you have an illness, if you have an injury, you can fast and get rid of that. Like I had COVID, I fasted for a day, and then all my symptoms went away. I felt better the next day. When I tore my shoulder, I fasted multiple times for a day, 2 days, 3 days. And when I did that, every single time my shoulder would feel better. And the reason for this is simple. When your body doesn't have to focus on digestion, which takes 30% of your body's energy, it can focus more on healing you, just healing an illness, healing an injury, whatever it may be. Simple. And then the last reason why you can fast is just for some spring cleaning, like an oil change. The way you should see fasting is almost like an oil change for your body. It gives your body a break from having to eat all the time and allows it to just focus on regenerating, repairing, getting rid of fat, increasing all your health markers and making you stronger. So, like I said, every spring, summer, fall, winter, you should be doing a little fast, whether it be just 24 hours, 36 hours, 48 hours, just to reset your body, get you back into rhythm. Another thing that's good with fasting too is it also helps reset your dopamine. So you'll just come back after a fast always feeling better, always feeling motivated, always feeling way more present and just better than you were before. So anyways, once your intention is set though, just make sure you have your intention set, whether it be for physical, mental, spiritual, just discipline reasons, whatever it may be, set it and then stick to it. The next step when it comes to a prolonged fast is preparing properly. So simply put, you got to be fat. If you don't have any fat on your body, then your body's going to start eating itself. That's when your body starts eating muscles. That's when you start to really deteriorate, and we don't want that. So just make sure you have enough fat, and let's be real, you probably have enough fat to do a fast. Come on, bro. But anyways, you probably got enough fat, so you probably meet the criteria. Now, during this preparation process, you also want to just be eating a lot of protein and fat. And the reason for that is simple, is that protein and fat, that's just eating a keto diet. And eating a keto diet mimics what you're about to go into, because when you're fasting, you go into ketosis. The keto diet was actually just meant to mimic the effects of, the ketosis that you get from fasting. So when you eat protein and fat, when you have to go the day without food, it's just going to be easier to kind of transition and flow into that fasted ketosis, fat burning state. So it's very simple. And then the last thing that you need to do to prepare is just make sure that you have water with salt and electrolytes, mainly just salt, so that way you get that sodium flowing into your body, pooling and blood in and circulating and helping with that blood flow. But you can also get electrolytes from stuff like potassium. You can get magnesium. There's other vitamins and minerals you can get in, calcium, zinc. Just make sure you're taking your vitamins and whatnot, because again, your body's not going to have any real external nutrients. But if you still have your vitamins, minerals, and nutrients and whatnot coming in, then you'll still have energy and feel way better than you would without them on your fast. Now, step 3 is during your fast, you got to stay active. A lot of people think that when you fast, you have no energy to do anything, but you will have energy. Like I said, you're going to go into ketosis. Your body's going to be burning fat for energy. It's going to be burning fat as fuel. So you will have energy. So the main key here is just you don't want to sit around and do nothing, because if you sit around and do nothing, you're just going to end up thinking about food. You're going to be I can't eat food. I can't eat food. I can't eat food. Whole time you're still thinking about foods, and you end up binging out and failing your fast because you go and eat food because you're just thinking about food all day. Now, instead, put your energy and focus and attention on other stuff. Go on frequent walks around your neighborhood. Do some light training, do some calisthenics, some push-ups, some pull-ups, some dips, some squats. Hang out with friends, try to socialize. Just, you really should stick to your normal routine. If you work on your business, then work on your business. If you go to work, then go to work. Like, nothing should really change that much. Like, the only difference is that you're not eating. It's really not that crazy. Like, a lot of y'all probably like, oh, but like, you've just been conditioned to think that way because you've been told that you need to eat 3 meals a day. You've been told that, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You've been told that when you go without food, you'll die. It's all a myth. But yeah, just make sure you stay active, and specifically make sure that you're at least walking. You want to be walking a lot, because if you don't walk, if you don't move, then your body will begin to eat the muscle away. But as long as you're just using your muscles by simply just moving, then you'll be fine. Next, step 4 is just have a good environment. Okay, don't have a whole bunch of enticing food in your crib. You don't want to have a whole bunch of like cakes and candies and like chicken in the fridge or something. You don't want to have a whole bunch of food that you might be tempted to eat in your immediate vicinity. And on top of that, you just want to avoid like going to like restaurants or going to like venues with food, parties and all that. Like, pretty much just don't do what I did. Like, me personally, every single day that I was fasting, I was door dashing, and I would have to smell like pizzas and like fries and burgers and chicken nuggets. Like, it was not for me personally, it wasn't that hard, but it definitely is not something that I recommend you go through or put yourself through, because it's just annoying. It's like, bro, I'm fasting and I just got to be around this food. Like, it's annoying. On top of that too, you don't really want to go to parties either, because again, people are going to try to offer you shots. People are going to try to offer you like drugs and whatnot. It's not worth it. And also, when you fast, like, you're just more vulnerable as well. Like, you're kind of in this vulnerable state, so you don't want to be around different people's energies, because that shit will rub off on you, and that's just annoying. Like, you gotta deal with other people and whatnot. Like I said, like, people was trying to fight me when I went out. It's like, just weird stuff be happening. So when it comes to your environment, just make sure that you don't go anywhere around food, and just make sure you don't go anywhere too crazy, like festivals and parties and all that. Just really try to keep yourself just grounded at the crib. Spend some time in nature or something simple. Next step is also just take advantage of the fasted state. Utilize it. Understand, like I said, you will be closer to God. Your intuition will be higher. You'll probably be experiencing more synchronicities, more like coincidences, quote unquote, because nothing is ever coincidental. Everything is meant to happen. So you'll just be experiencing stuff on a different frequency, on a different vibration, a different level. So make sure that you write this stuff down, write in your journal. Make sure that you meditate. Pray, just give gratitude for the fact that like you're alive. Understand, like, you're gonna appreciate food way more after this experience. So really utilize the fasted state, because you're not always gonna be in a fasted state. Understand, a fasted state is very special, it's very unique, and it's very beneficial for you as well. But you can't always be fasting. You do have to eat. You're a human, simple as that. So just take advantage of it, enjoy it, appreciate it, and also just make sure that you write down any like insights you receive and whatnot. And then the last step in fasting is, of course, breaking the fast. Now, a lot of people don't understand that breaking the fast is there's actually a certain way to do it. Now, you really only have to like do this if you fast for longer than 48 hours. So if you're just doing a 2-day fast, you don't have to worry as much about breaking your fast. But even then, you should still follow these rules. The thing is, when you break your fast, your digestive tract, your stomach has been shut off for like 3+ days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. You need to ease back into eating foods. So when you first break your fast, ideally you want to break it with something liquid, and you also want to break it with something high in protein. That's why what y'all saw me eating was bone broth and eggs, and they were like soft boiled eggs. So they were like kind of like between liquid and solid. You know what I'm saying? So you just want to break your fast with something that is pretty just like smooth and easy to go down, but also high in protein, because your body hasn't had any nutrients in like however long you've been fasting for several days. So you really just want to refeed with protein, so that way your body can repair and regrow itself, because you have been depleting yourself over these last few days. So again, what I recommend is just having something like bone broth, having something like soft boiled eggs, something that's just soft and easy to go down, and then just keep it light as well. Like, I didn't really eat that much. I only ate like 500 calories for my first meal back, when I'm used to eating like 3,000 calories at a time, because again, you got to ease your digestive tract, you got to ease your stomach back into eating and whatnot. So just keep it light and keep it high in protein when you break your fast. And that's exactly how you go about doing a prolonged fast. And again, if you want to get more information on like fasting, nutrition, recovery, training and whatnot, go click the top link in the description below. Join the Athletic Body Program. Go and get right in 90 days or less and transform yourself. And seriously, with all that being said, I appreciate you. Don't forget to check out the last video I made about how to, eat in order to become athletic and aesthetic. And remember, stay up and stay blessed. Self-love is self-discipline. And I'm out. Dooski.